If you're looking for a trusted and reliable source of news, information, op-eds, all that good stuff, check out my friends over at patriotpost.us. A link for them will be in the description box. So when you head over there and subscribe, tell them that ABL sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this Rodney Reed case that is getting a lot of attention from your Kim Kardashians of the world, Rihanna, T.I., a lot of the, hip hop and urban superstars, as well as many folks on the left in general, your Pocahontas and many other people saying, hey, we got to free this man, or at least get him off death row. He was wrongly implicated. He didn't do it. He's innocent, all this, that, and the third. Now, there's a lot to get into, a whole lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. I just want to start from the very beginning of this case so you understand what's going on. I got to give you some context, as YouTube likes me to give. Now, in 1996, a young lady by the name of Stacey Stites, who was 19 years old, was apparently raped and murdered by somebody. The first suspect was her then-fiance, who was a police officer, a guy by the name of Jimmy Fennell. But then Rodney Reed, his name somehow came up. Now, I'm not really sure how they pointed to Rodney Reed, but his name came up. DNA matched because his DNA was found inside of her. He was convicted for the rape and murder. Now he's on death row. However, information now has come out to say that Rodney Reed and Stacey Stites were in a consensual affair. That's why his semen was inside of her. And her husband actually got locked up later for raping and kidnapping the woman while he was an officer, while he was on duty. I think he did 10 years for that. I'm not quite sure if he's out or whatever the case may be, but he did go to jail for that particular crime. So now it's pointing back towards the husband because he found out about the affair and then he decided to kill his wife. Somebody in jail, a snitch songbird, whatever, said that he was Jimmy's celly, or he would stay close to him. And then he heard him talking about, oh, I had to kill my N-word loving fiance. Okay, that's what he says. So as a result of all these pieces of information, all these quote unquote revelations, people have coalesced left and right, a lot of celebrities around this case of freeing Rodney Reed from jail, or at least taking him off of death row so he doesn't get the needle, the rope, whatever they want to give him. Now, we got to go back to the trial to understand why he got death row to begin with. Obviously, if you rape and murder somebody, you're going to go to jail for a long time. But what would take the rape and murder away from a regular murder conviction to a capital murder where you get death row? There were at least 5 to 6 other rapes that his DNA, not just he was a suspect, his DNA linked him to. Okay. Now, if you hear from the lawyer, Rodney Reed's lawyer, he may say, oh, it's just, he was a suspect. It wasn't really proven. Maybe that's true, but it's very misleading. If your DNA, your actual sperm, is found within 6 other women who have open rape cases, rape and murder or whatever, I mean, that's a pretty big indication that it could be you. In the case of Stacey Stites, maybe it wasn't because there was an affair going on. But when your DNA is found within a disabled woman, a 12-year-old girl who had her house broken into and was violently beat and raped by a man, okay, I don't think you can say, oh, it was a consensual relationship or anything like that with a 12-year-old or with a disabled person. So what's really going on? The reason why he got death row is because he was seen as a serial rapist, somebody that could not be let back out into society. That's why he got that. So while he may be innocent of the Stacey Stites case, possibly, I mean, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I mean, it's not a stretch to think that he would kill somebody after he rapes them when he has like 6 other rapes that he's linked to. It wouldn't really be a big stretch. It just so happened that her husband or husband-to-be was also a rapist. You see what I'm saying? So, but it's not a stretch to say that he actually did that. Just because he may be innocent in that case does not mean he is innocent in general. It's like Central Park 5. Shout out to my man Brandon Tatum. I saw his video and he brought up that whole point. Central Part 5 may have been innocent of a particular thing they got convicted of, but not of everything that they were implicated in and therefore convicted of as a totality. Like, if I rob a 7-Eleven or something and I get 30 years, somebody says, hey, it was just one crime, first offense, this, that, and the third. But then they don't tell you about the other things that are in the case. You see the big headline, guy robs a store. He didn't have a mask on. He had a pair of Jordans on and some flip-flops. At the same time, everybody saw this, that, and the third. You see the big headline, but you don't see what's beyond that. You don't see, he had a bunch of illegal guns. He had drugs. He had somebody in his car tied up and bleeding. You don't see everything behind just the headline case, okay? You don't see a suspected serial rapist with DNA inside of a 12-year-old girl and a disabled woman sentenced to death. All you see is the case of, white lady getting raped and murdered, white fiance takes out revenge. It's a racial thing. You see that, but you don't see everything that's behind it. Personally, I'm in favor of prison reform. I'm in favor of innocent people, men and women, getting out of jail. I'm in favor of all that, but not in this particular case. This case is not simply about that one crime that he may or may not be innocent of. And it's not been proven that he actually didn't do that, but I digress for now. It's not even about that. It's about the other crimes. And before I close, I'm going to talk about the First Step Act right quick. That might be kind of an elephant in the room. Some would say, hey, ABL, how are you in favor of the First Step Act? Having a bunch of rapists and murderers and thieves and etc. gotten out early due to the First Step Act? Well, yes, but at the same time, no. And I'll explain. People are conflating good time collection with those that are petitioning to get out earlier due to a law that was passed which reduces sentencing of crack and powder. It reduced the crack and powder disparity. So let's say, for example, you got locked up in the early 90s when the Clinton crime bill came into effect for selling crack, and you got 30 years versus a person that got caught selling the same amount of cocaine and got 5 years. The whole point of the First Step Act, as far as that's concerned, is to make those, more equal. That ain't the case when you're talking about those that are getting out who are violent offenders. A law already exists where you are able to get time off of your sentence due to having good behavior in prison. That's already right there. It was a question about, should it be 54 days or 47, something like that. If I'm wrong about the exact number of days, let me know in the comments below. But for each day or year that you're in jail and you don't have any problems, you're able to accumulate time off of your sentence. That's already a law that was on the books. So these people that got out due to getting 2 weeks off of their sentence, we're going to come home regardless. It's not like they got out early because their sentence got overturned or changed. It's just a matter of a law that already existed being clarified to where somebody may get an extra week off of their sentence. If you had a 25-year sentence, but you got out in 24 years and 6 months, or 24 years, 5 months and 3 weeks, what's the big difference? It's not really a thing. At the end of the day, as I close, Rodney Reed should get the death penalty. I don't see how anybody can come to his defense. Even if he is innocent for the main crime, you still have 6 other crimes, including the rape and brutal beating of a 12-year-old. How do you come to his defense at all? But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Rodney Reed should be let off of death row? Should he be let out of jail? If that is your viewpoint, please let me know why in the comments below. Or do you think that I'm correct? He should not be let out of jail. He should not be let off of death row. He appears to be a serial rapist. I mean, you got your DNA in about 6 other cases, a disabled person, a little girl. What are we talking about here? The case with Stacey Stites just happened to be kind of a 1 in a million coincidence where the husband was also a rapist. That does not normally happen. He deserved to be in jail. If he were not in jail, he would be outside committing more acts of violence and terror upon women. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.